Welcome back to the channel, Adventures Through Climate Change with your host, Trevor Snyder. That is me, and we watch all things climate related. Some things that are on the fringe of climate, but I consider in the topic. Anyways, look, if this is your first time tuning in, thank you for tuning in. But we've covered on average 4 or 5 videos a week for the last 3 months. I'm pointing towards a wall, but I mean in the past. So check out the other videos, get on the same page as what we're on, because everybody knows my opinions at the end of the videos. And let's break into this next one. With that being said, Ford CEO, the new engine will destroy the entire EV industry. What does he mean by that? Meaning that it's going to be a really good EV, or that it's going to be a really good gas, or I don't know. Let's check it out. This is tech space. I'm subscribed. I like this video. This was 4 weeks ago and already has 1 million views. I'm intrigued. Let's get it.
Ford is one of the most trusted auto brands in the world, with class-leading sales in pickup trucks. However, there is one specific aspect that Ford flexes its muscles: engines. The American company has made many engines that auto enthusiasts fondly remember, but nothing compares with this badass new engine that wipes the floor with other manufacturers. What is the all-new engine, and how come it is so good? Join us as we dive right into Ford's all-new engine that shocks the entire car industry. The engine is the heart of any vehicle, because without it, the car is not moving an inch on its own. This is why automakers pay close attention to the engines powering their cars, because it could be the difference between a really good model and a bad one. It is interesting how great things start. For instance, Ford, one of the most present brands in the lives of Americans, started off in a kitchen. The kitchen belonged to Mrs. Clara Ford in an apartment on 58 Bagley Avenue near downtown Detroit. Clara fed 1 or 2 drips of gasoline into the intake valve while her husband, the legendary Henry Ford, worked the ignition and spun the flywheel. Ford's earliest dream was realized when the simple hand-built engine sputtered to life over the sink and his remarkable automotive career began. The cylinder was a simple piece of black iron pipe that had been bored and honed on the inside to accept a piston with a bore diameter
It's crazy.
1 inch, a simple rod and crank arrangement connected to the flywheel/starting handle.
Combustion.
Many parts were common hardware and plumbing supply store items. Generations of home machinists have replicated the engine as a building project, and plans are available on the internet if you'd like to try it for yourself.
I am intrigued.
Whose plans Ford will not put on the internet, however, is the beastly Godzilla engine. It is not every day that a major OE manufacturer introduces an all-new V8 engine, let alone one that makes performance enthusiasts go crazy. But that was exactly what Ford Motor Company did when it released its new 7.3-liter gasoline.
Good night. This might not be.
The mighty V8 engine is intended for Super Duty trucks and produces 430 horsepower at 5,500 rotations per minute and a best-in-class torque of 475 foot-pounds at 4,000 rotations per minute.
I'm going to pause it right there. We'll go back to the numbers just a hair. Is this climate related? I have no idea, because sometimes I watch some car stuff. I guess we're going to find out if this is good or bad for the climate, whether you think that CO2 is good or bad. I was reading something the other day, just to change the subject, where this guy was like, we would have been in an ice age almost already if it weren't for the Industrial Revolution. I'm like, that kind of makes sense. I don't know. It very well could be.
4,000 rotations per minute. The most interesting thing about this release was that Ford actually went back to a cam-in block design with push rods and wedge-style heads instead of the modular or Coyote platform it had been developing for over 2 decades. In fact, Ford hasn't produced a gasoline-fueled pushrod V8 in exactly 20 years, with the most recent being a 302 with 210 horsepower found in the 2001 Explorer. The new pushrod Ford displacement is 445 cubic inches, and while it isn't slated for the 2021 Mustang, you can order one as a crate engine for swaps or custom builds from Ford Performance, and the aftermarket is starting to respond with performance parts. The Godzilla engine was actually developed as an option for the F-250 and up Super Duty models as a heavy-duty engine that is powerful, durable, and inexpensive to build and maintain. However, the same features that make it a powerful truck engine are also what get hot rodders excited. There has been a case where one produced over 700 horsepower naturally aspirated and 1,450 horsepower with a supercharger. Ford actually set out to produce something that could be chucked into a heavy-duty truck or pickup truck.
Need a transmission to match.
Succeeded. Other groups that would fancy the engine included dump truck and motorhome owners. Ford also targeted a low cost and little maintenance. This engine incorporates everything Ford has learned about engine construction. It was designed by the same person who works on the 5-litre and 5.2-litre Shelby GT350 intake ports. It is completely new with no compromises and designed to be very rugged. A cast iron 4-bolt main block with cross bolts, and the pistons and rings are an evolution of the EcoBoost design. But why is the Godzilla engine getting rave reviews from hot rodders? Let us start from the block. Bore and stroke are 4.22 inches by 3.976 inches, equating to 445 cubic inches or 7.3 litres of displacement. The designer wanted good performance potential, so they went with large bores. Big bores are also great for cylinder head flow and create slower piston speed relative to the stroke during cruising modes for better efficiency. But of course, the design also made the engine to be serviceable and rebuildable in the future. As a result, the iron block made the most sense. Going at 0.03 inches over would give you 457 cubic inches, and with a stroker crank, you could net around 500 cubic inches. The factory crank is a solid forged steel unit held together by the 4-bolt main caps in a deep-skirted block with 2 side bolts per cap. The main journal is 2.66 inches long, the same as the 6.2-litre Ford V8. The rod journals are 2.086 inches long, common to Coyote 5-litre. The back of the crank, which has 8 bolts in the back of the block, are shared by Ford Modular and Coyote engines. The deck height is 9.65 inches, and the top of the deck surface has a soft cut for coolant flow. The factory employs powdered metal cracked cap connecting rods that swing cast pistons, but steel and aluminium alternatives are available. Ford tried something unusual by using a chain-driven variable displacement oil pump as a performance engine. To precisely control oil pressure to a target pressure, the Godzilla engine uses a variable displacement oil pump. So in essence, it can control the pressure based on driver demand. At idle, not much pressure is needed. However, at higher speeds or loads, the pressure can be increased to protect the engine. The 8-quart oil pan is deep and made of cast aluminium, and some models have super duty and medium duty oil coolers attached to the side of the block, but some vendors will sell you block-off plates to remove the coolers. Induction is always a hot topic, and it is one that you will need to address if you're thinking of doing some swaps. A composite intake manifold with a front-mounted and upswept 18mm throttle body is used in the factory truck engine. You will find out the
blurred down there.
location is not ideal for swaps into most cars because the hood clearance becomes a major issue. But don't worry, aftermarket intakes are coming. The 7.3-litre Godzilla has a dry valley which keeps the intake cooler and reduces the possibility of an oil leak. The 7.3-litre currently does not use direct injection, but it can be added later if necessary. The engine has a
I mean, look at the size of that transmission. And the headers on this thing, it just, I mean, they look kind of rusted actually, but they're good size headers. It's pretty interesting. It's, I don't know why we're watching this today, but hey, hope you enjoyed.
aluminium cylinder heads with all of the modern features. Ford used a wedge combustion chamber with spark plugs located at the center of the piston dish for optimization. This affords the ability to have a higher compression ratio that equals better efficiency and performance. But to prevent detonation under high load, Ford also used piston cooling jets that flow oil to the backside of the pistons for cooling. Valve sizes are 2.17 inches for the intake and 1.66 inches for the exhaust, with an 8.8-degree angle and a 1.8-degree cant. The cam lift is 13.67mm intake and 15.26mm exhaust, with a hefty 60mm cam bore and 9 journals to limit deflection. The beehive valve springs are also remarkable.
Talking inches.
Ford went this route to accommodate the high valve lift while keeping the spring stress low. The Godzilla engine also employs hydraulic roller lifters with variable valve timing and a single phaser. There's fixed overlap, but you can advance and retard the cam on the fly. This enables the reduction of pumping loss at low engine speeds and throttle positions while changing the phasing for better airflow at higher speeds. Compared to the 4.6-litre 2, 3 and 4 valve modular and dual overhead cams 5.0 Coyote engines, this is a big incher in a small package. The top of the valve covers is 25.5 inches wide, which is about 2 inches wider than a typical 351 Windsor. With its 24 inches length, the Godzilla will fit in almost any vehicle that has a V8. And with engine swaps becoming increasingly popular, it'll only be a matter of time before we see them in classic Fords, late model Mustangs, and street rods.
Heck
However, the
yeah.
fight for the best engines ever made will not be complete without the Ford Predator V8, a high-performance supercharged V8 engine that was introduced in the 2019 Ford Mustang GT500, replacing the 5.2-litre Voodoo V8. The Predator was built around a redesigned version of the legendary Ford Coyote V8, which provided better performance and efficiency than its predecessors. It employs an upgraded version of an already upgraded version of the original Ford 5-litre Coyote block, but with beefed up heads, pistons, crankshafts, and other components designed to withstand higher cylinder pressures. The Ford Predator V8 was designed for multiple applications and can be installed using a wide variety of Ford Mustang manual and automatic transmissions. As a result, it shares many components with other modern American performance engines, and it outperforms the previous GT500's 5.2-litre Voodoo V8 engine by more than 134 horsepower. The 5.2-litre supercharged engine has a cross-plane crank, as opposed to the GT350's naturally aspirated flat-plane Voodoo V8. This means that instead of being spread out in a line as in a typical V8, the firing order is arranged around an imaginary plane that bisects the engine. The result is improved torque at low RPM and high RPM power delivery, as well as a much stronger crank that can handle more power. The cross-plane crank also provides the unmistakable V8 rumble and engine noise that we all fell in love with in the 1980s, which the GT350 lacked. The Predator V8 engine is built on a solid block design which reduces weight while increasing overall strength. The 5.2-litre engine also has forged internals, which makes it more durable than other engines on the market and allows it to handle more horsepower and torque. The Predator's dual overhead camshafts allow for more airflow through the cylinder heads while weighing less than a single overhead camshaft design. The aluminium cylinder head on the new Ford V8 helps to reduce weight and increase cooling efficiency. In addition, a specially designed intake manifold with twin throttle bodies for improved performance is included. Another difference between this and previous versions of the Coyote engine is that it's no longer naturally aspirated. Yes, the days of pure naturally aspirated engines are long gone, as even the Mustang now comes with a whining supercharger. While this may detract from the amazing roaring chant of the cross-plane crank V8, it more than makes up for it with incredible performance and tons of horsepower and torque. So how did the designers manage to boost the Voodoo V8 without blowing the engine up? They reduced the compression ratio of this engine from 12 to 1 to 9.5 to 1, allowing them to add more boost in a safe manner.
Wow.
They avoid detonation and cylinder failure due to overpressurization of the cylinders by lowering the compression and using the cross-plane crank. With the addition of the new cross-plane crank, they were able to do a lot more to boost the engine. These engines are paired with an Eaton TVS R2650 supercharger, which generates 760 horsepower or more. The Predator is the result of years of research and development by Ford engineers who worked tirelessly to create one of the most durable engines on the market. In fact, it's built so strong that it's almost impossible to break one during normal use. Which of these engines
Is that
excites
true?
you the most? Sound off in the comment section below.
Boom. Not really climate related, except for that it is funny how like all these companies that are supposedly going EV are doubling down on gas guzzlers. Or I was thinking, this is going to probably be a V8 that actually gets a ton of fuel efficiency. That's what's going to outdo everything. I was wrong. But okay, whatever. It's a cool motor, and man, like I said, that. Some of the designs, it's interesting how they still are tweaking things to make them better. It's crazy. Human minds just they baffle me, and you got to have an interest in that type of thing. But anywho, with that being said, maybe I earned your subscription. Probably not today. I really don't care. Like it if you like it. It's more important to like the actual other videos. These people put time into making them. I just appreciate a community coming together for discussion, and I do appreciate your comments, even though some of you can be rather rude sometimes. It's okay. With that being said, hope to catch you on the next video.